Hi, my name's Matt and I'm building a Sopwith Camel. This week dealing with sudden temperature changes again. So this area has gone from high 20s a few weeks ago, right now it's 1 degree. So I've got frost on the truck and it's a tad chilly. Timber doesn't like extremes in temperature, especially when it's not fixed to something else. On top of that, I've got issues with potential swelling and things like forms and other parts that I really don't want to be changing in dimension. It's a problem you've got when you're engineering with timber. So I'm kind of learning the ins and outs of that, I guess. So this week it's a little bit of progress and question marks at the end of it. Hope you enjoy. Cheers. Just thought I'd show you what a pile of, I think, 66 holes looks like. There you go. So we stack. If that was money, it'd be like Scrooge McDuck. But that's come out of these ones. So I've got about 14 of these and 11 of those. I'll just cut up. Just about to start routering them. Then I just got to sand and put them in the stack, and then fingers crossed. Touch wood. That'll be the last of those that I need to make. Then I'm going to head on to actually building wing ribs out of them. It'd be cool. Hey guys, to show what I'm up to at the moment, which isn't very aircrafty, but it helps me clear my shed out. I'm currently turning these and these and those and all the other scrap and supply that I've got lying around into either teardrop shapes or 1-inch squares or rectangles. I've got a shed load of these, so I really don't want to waste it, and these are going to end up going to a childcare centre for what they call loose parts play. So stuff like these, basically sand down the edges, jobs are good on, and possibly the same with some of these things as well. So I've got a shed load of stuff that's come out of the middle, all those holes I've made. So yeah, not very aircrafty, but I'm going to spend an afternoon just tidying these up, and I'll give them away. We're definitely getting into winter, and daylight's becoming a bit of a precious commodity at the moment. But I've skived off a little bit early, come home and do a little bit more work, and I'll quickly show you what I've been up to. Currently I'm cutting capping strips, which these guys. These go on top of the web ribs and hold the web ribs together. And what I'm cutting in them is grooves. Zoom in to see if you can see that. There's a groove in there. It's 1/32 of an inch deep, and is wide enough to fit a piece of webbing into it. So that'll squeeze in there without moving. So that's nice snug fit. Hopefully enough room there for glue as well eventually. So I'm cutting those. So the jig arrangement I've got for that, this is my trusty router table. The best builds I've ever done. Really pleased with it. To cut these things, previously I've had my finger about there, which is about where the spinny blade is, holding the cap strip in place. Decided to get a bit smarter with that, and what I've done now is I've got a plank of wood going across, clamped in place, piece of capping strip under there, another one under here to keep it the right height, which holds it against the blade, and this piece is movable. So I can just hold that up against the stops, which then holds the capping strips tight correctly. So that's what I'm doing with that, and that's working quite nicely. It's fairly simple to do. Other stuff I've done, I've finished all the various web ribs, so these are all done. So they're the last few of the centre web ribs I had to do. So I've got quite the rack going on here at the moment, including the old computer ones. I'm nabbing that because on the weekend, because I'm worried about where I'm going to store these things, and I don't particularly want to store them where they're going to get damaged, I'll build a box out of spare plywood to put them in. So that's all sit in the bottom. Don't quite know how I'm going to stack them yet, but the main thing is they protect it from knocks and bumps. So that fits in quite nicely, and there's a bit of room at the end. Hopefully for the plastic bags I intend to put them into. This has got to get one more coat of varnish on it. Doesn't need it, but just because I can, and I've got spare old varnish that I want to use up. So yeah, so it's that. Last night I started plugging away at sandbags. I got several of those done. Got an old fridge out here, which turns out to be ideal size for them. So a little stack of sandbags for that last rib test I want to do. They're on the go slow, so not particularly worried. Here we go. Not particularly worried about how long that takes. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much where I am at the moment. Other wee jobs I've got to do. I've got to still sand these parts for the childcare centre. These are the holes. So we've just got to sand down the edges, then hand them over. That gets rid of them. And I've still got all these holes to cut out to do something with as well. And I want to get rid of those, but I just haven't quite worked out what I'm going to do with them yet. I could just sand down the edges and hand them over as well, but they're not really of a useful shape for childcare centre. I'll ponder on that. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to keep going. As you can tell from the scarf and the woolly hat, it's freaking cold. Apparently we've got a polar blast or something coming through, so the entire country is looking pretty chilly. Not as chilly as other places obviously, but it's a bit coolish from my perspective. Right, I'll crack on. I've started writing widths and millimetres on these capping strips. I'm getting a bit tired of having to remeasure them every single time, so it just seems like the smarter thing to do. Here I've got a whole bunch at about 9.7. So 9.7, 9.7. The interesting thing is I'm damn sure I didn't plane those to be 9.7. I would have planed them to be 9.525, which is 3/8 of an inch. Which is the measurement I'm aiming for. So these have expanded probably due to moisture and moisture content up to 9.7, which surprised me. I'm a bit surprised about that. I'm going to use them because if they expanded that far, they'll probably shrink again back down to 9.525. Over here I've got a whole bunch of others. These are all various, I don't know if you can see that. Obviously well below 9.5. These ones are all about 9.2, 9.3. So I'm rejecting all these ones. I can use them in other parts. There's various other places that need capping strips. Not for capping strips, but for doing other jobs. So they won't go to waste. And where are the other ones? I've got a bunch of other ones somewhere. Oh, sorry. Those are all over the place. And these ones. And I've got a fistful here, and these ones are around 9.4 plus. Darn it. There we go. It's covered there at 9.5. So I'll be using these ones with the assumption that depending on the weather, the humidity, they'll expand or contract. And in fact, they started off at 9.525. Should be fine. Oops. Over the jiggling. Interesting enough, the original factories were climate controlled, both for heat and humidity, and they're done that way specifically to keep the wood stable while they're building the aeroplanes. So once you made something to 9.525 or 3/8 of an inch, it stayed that way until you actually needed it on the aircraft. Then it went on the aircraft to the right dimensions. Of course, that'll go sideways once the aircraft hits the front, and the conditions at the front are slightly, well, nowhere near as climate controlled, shall we say. But I don't have that luxury in here, so I've pretty much got to work around the fact that the wood's going to be changing in dimensions as I go, which is not ideal, to put it mildly, but it is what it is. Cool. Done. Oh, well, actually I must show you the temperature while I'm at it. I haven't looked at it tonight, but there we go. 6 degrees and 83% humidity. Now with those two details you can actually work out the equilibrium moisture content of timber, which is if it stays at that temperature and that humidity, the amount of moisture content that timber will acquire. I'll probably do that later tonight. The ideal moisture content for timber to be working with For aircraft is about 12%, and anywhere in the 12 to 15% range is fine, acceptable. I don't know what that combination will do, but I'll probably find that out shortly. Starting to wish I had a climate control garage right now. So the problem I've come across is related to those cap strips changing in size. I'm just working on the jig. This is one of the ribs I've got to make. It's a half rib, so it stops here and the aileron comes off this end, so it only needs to go to this point. What I've found with putting the centre rib in is, even without the shims, and you might recall from doing this previously, I used shims in here because I wanted a comfortable fit, not a press tight fit. I've taken those away, and even with taking those away, this now bows when it gets put into the jig. And I'm picking this because this block and this block have both gained moisture and expanded in size. Not by a lot, because they're not very big blocks, but enough to throw the measurements out for this. I'm in two minds as to whether to carry on, or, because this is a multi-year project, wait until summer and put ribs together. I don't quite know which way I'm going to go yet. I've half a mind just to keep on going, and when it comes to assembling the wings, it may be required to disassemble the ribs, bearing in mind they're only screwed together, they're not glued, and shave a piece off the edge of the wing ribs to get them to fit properly. I'm kind of talking this aloud as I go. Not sure. I'm going to go have some dinner, have a bit of a ponder on it before I go any further. I'm in a good space where I can still create all the parts, like all these capping strips, all been routed out, they're all ready to go and be cut and drilled. I can make all the parts, it's just a matter of, is it wise to actually make the ribs right now? Just taking this centre web out rather than have it stress everything. And this is how much it's bowing. That should be sitting flat. So I'll figure out the answers to these minor hiccups over the next few days. These aren't terminal problems, they're just hiccups. They're just stuff you got to deal with. But I'll work that out. I'll do some maths. I'll work out average temperatures over summer. And my quick look suggests maybe I shouldn't have been cutting timber to size over summer. Perhaps. Maybe that's the lesson to come out of this. Don't know yet, but I'll plod along, I'll figure it out, and then I'll come back here. Have fun, enjoy your week. Cheers.